Now, when it comes to building generational wealth long-term with a relatively small amount of money invested, there's of course several different stocks or ETFs that can all get you to the same ending goal long-term. But just as of recently, someone was asking me some of my favorite dividend growth style ETFs that I think could be good potential options when it comes to building wealth long-term and turning once again a small amount of money into a boatload of cash. So in this video, that's exactly what we're going to be talking about. We're going to be going over several different ultra high quality dividend growth style ETFs, and I'm going to share with you guys how just $50,000 invested into them can turn into multi-millions of dollars later on down the line. Now, this is going to be based on a long-term horizon, so this is far from a get-rich-quick idea or anything of those sorts. But if you're a long-term investor and you want to see some of the highest quality dividend growth style ETFs and see all the numbers that entails with holding onto them and buying them long-term, then make sure to stick around, drop a like down below, and let's get right into it. If you are a dividend investor who wants to level up your portfolio, you need to be tracking your dividend income consistently. And that's why I created the perfect dividend tracker that I've used to scale my dividend income up to all-time highs over the last year. Now, along with this dividend tracker, you're also going to receive my A to Z dividend investing ebook, which shows you how I personally started from $0 several years ago to now where I earn over $7,500 per month in dividends. So if you want this tracker and the ebook, go to the first link down below in my description and grab it today. Now, like I said during the intro, there are so many different ETFs and stocks that can all help you build wealth long-term, of course. But in this video, we're going to go over 3 of my personal favorites as of right now. Number 1 is going to be ticker symbol DGRO, the Ishares Core Dividend Growth ETF, which has an investment objective that says the Ishares Core Dividend Growth ETF seeks to track the investment results of an index composed of U.S. equities with a history of consistently growing dividends. Now, consistently growing dividends is going to be something that's very key, especially if you're looking to invest a relatively small amount of money and turn it into a boatload of cash later on. And this is simply because over the years, your initial investment is going to pay you more and more over time as long as the dividend growth continues, which with DGRO, it's been very, very consistent. Now, it also says right here why DGRO. It says it offers low cost exposure to US stocks focused on dividend growth and access to companies that have a history of sustained dividend growth and that are broadly diversified across industries. Now, DGRO isn't necessarily going to be the fastest growing ETF across the entire market or an ETF that offers the largest and fastest growing dividends, but this ETF does offer stability, diversification, and does do all the above very, very nicely. Now, DGRO's performance, and this is since inception, we're talking around 12% every single year as far as total return goes, which is very, very impressive. And the fact that DGRO does have over 400 different individual stocks inside this ETF, you are going to get massive diversification in multiple different sectors and fast-growing companies. Names like Apple, JP Morgan, Microsoft, tons of different names that have grown over time, but also grown their dividends along with it. Now, because DGRO as of right now currently offers around a 2.27% trailing 12-month dividend yield and around an 8% dividend growth rate over the last 5 or so years. If we were to plug all the numbers that DGRO offers and see what a $50,000 initial starting principal could turn into over 30 or so years, we're talking a $50,000 initial principal with around $12,000 contributed every single year, and dividends reinvested could potentially turn into an ending balance of over $2.272 million over 30 years of investing. Now, of course, keep in mind these numbers are just estimated, and of course, you could grow your portfolio a lot faster if you start off with more money and or if you contribute a little bit faster. But all in all, $50,000 invested into something like DGRO based off of the historical numbers could turn into a boatload of cash later on. Another ETF that can definitely do the same is one of my largest holdings, SCHD, or the Schwab US Dividend Equity ETF, which offers once again exposure to dividend-paying stocks, companies that have historically paid more and more in dividends over time. With SCHD, you're getting exposure to names like Cisco, names like BlackRock, names like Home Depot, Chevron, and many, many others. And the great thing about SCHD is that, at least as of right now, the trailing 12-month dividend yield is around 3.7%. But also SCHD has grown their dividend, sometimes 9%, 10%, or even 11% per year. Now, dividend growth is probably one of the main metrics on why I personally am so fond of SCHD. The ETF has paid over the last year or so around 12% more in dividends compared to the previous. And this is one of the main reasons I've been trying to buy as many shares of SCHD as possible while I'm still relatively young at 32 years old, because I don't even really care about how much income I'm getting today or tomorrow. Like I said, as of right now, around $600 or so per quarter. But come 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 20 years from now, I want my dividends to not double, but maybe triple in the next few decades. And that's exactly what's happened over the last, say, 13 or so years. SCHD used to pay 4 cents, 5 cents, 7 cents per share per quarter. Now, just as of recently, 27 cents. 25 cents or 26 cents. So to put it simply, SCHD offers exposure to high quality companies that, like I said, have made it through multiple different intense screenings. But along with that, the ETF has grown consistently over time, paid dividends, and paid more and more in dividends to investors. Now with SCHD's numbers, this is going to turn, again, theoretically speaking, a $50,000 portfolio into a massive, massive portfolio long term. We're talking $50K invested and once again $12,000 on top of that per year could potentially turn into $4.4 million after just 30 years of investing. Now again, if SCHD's dividend growth rate changes over the years and or any other outside metrics change, this could dramatically change the end results, but still regardless, a $50,000 investment could potentially turn into a massive, massive boatload of cash later on with something like SCHD. Now I could go on and make a video about all my favorite dividend growth style ETFs, and I do on my channel, so definitely subscribe if you guys like things like this. But the last one that we're going to talk about is my newest favorite, VIG, the Vanguard Dividend Appreciation ETF, an ETF that's brought to us by Vanguard that I just started buying a lot more over the last year. Now, VIG offers large cap equity exposure, emphasizing stocks with a record of growing their dividends year over year. So once again, you're getting a high quality basket of stocks, some of the best names in the game, around 330 different stocks with VIG, but you're also getting exposure to dividends and more dividends historically. Not to mention, as of the filming of this video, VIG has also offered around a 10% return every single year since inception, which again is very, very impressive. Now, VIG offers around a 1.75% trailing 12-month dividend yield and around 8%, 10% dividend growth rate, which is why, once again, it definitely lands within this video. Now, based off of some of VIG's rough numbers, a $50,000 investment into VIG could turn an investor's $50K into around $4 million based off some of the previous numbers. And again, these are all just complete estimations. But once again, just proving that a $50,000 investment and contributing around $1,000 per month from there, an investor with a relatively small portfolio to start, $50K, could potentially turn into multi-millions later on. Now, one of the main reasons I love talking about dividend growth style ETFs like the ones we talked about in this video, DGRO, SCHD, or even ticker symbol VIG, is because especially for newer dividend growth investors, if you're looking to build out a long-term portfolio, you of course don't have to pick any of the ones that I talk about in my videos. Do your own research and figure out which ETF matches your specific objective and strategy. But regardless, there's so many high-quality, low-cost ETFs out there these days that can be used as foundational positions for your long-term portfolio, and most likely, at least based off of history, turn a relatively small amount of money into a boatload of capital later on. Now again, because every single one of these different dividend growth ETFs offers different growth potential, offers a different starting and trailing 12-month dividend yield, and that definitely offers much different exposure to different stocks depending on the ETF that you're looking at. You 100% should figure out what your own investment strategy is and work backwards from there. So now that we talked about DGRO, we talked about SCHD, my favorite, and ticker symbol VIG, and I share with you guys what a $50,000 investment could potentially turn into later on. I lastly, most importantly, want to hear from you guys down below. If I were to ask you to pick out, as of right now, your number one favorite dividend growth style ETF across the entire market, which one are you choosing? Drop the ticker symbol in my comments down below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to please drop a like on it and subscribe for more future content like this. Make sure to grab yourself a copy of my dividend investing ebook and the new dividend tracker today. It's the first link in my description. Thanks as always for stopping by, and if you are interested in investing, make sure to check out these recent videos I posted right here.